Hello,
I'm
hello.
gonna speak first just about the mission and like what we created the garden for, why this community initiative is like kind of like at the core of what we want to achieve. Um,
Hello,
and then
hello.
I'll just hand it back off to Khalil, and I'll join in from like the live stream side as a viewer.
So, how are you guys doing today? We are
That's
live. We are live.
um,
We just want to first say thank you so much for being a part of this first ever garden community initiative. We are more than excited to start this here in Nigeria, and we brought some wonderful guests here. Leo, the project owner and founder, Tim, an amazing designer, and Solomon, an amazing artist. If you guys want to, give a quick intro to yourself.
Yeah, good to meet everyone. Yeah, as Khalil said, I'm one of the founders of the project, and really like this initiative was born out of my love for talent, like what I saw in my core business, like the background of actually building websites and building products with teams, really understanding like how much diverse talent there is around the world, working with people from everywhere, and seeing like how much opportunity there was for people to grow, to be discovered, really, and then for them to flourish. So that's what caused the Garden Initiative, and it's kind of come full circle now to bringing in the different community members that are not only our company IDS has uh, outreach to, but also like the garden itself, and what that has blossomed into with the community team.
Yeah, and like Leo said, we are more than excited for this, and yeah, just really look forward to building something in person as well, because obviously, like you guys know, we've been doing this online, so to be able to eventually turn this into an actual in-person community is something that, yeah, we've been thinking about since the beginning. And we also have Eric here as well, an incredible designer that worked on the garden and is a part of the amazing community too. Yeah, Tim, Solomon, if you guys want to say hello, introduce yourself.
okay. I mean, I could just go there. Hi, everyone. I'm Tim, Timothy Ogundipe, but like you can just call me Tim. Um, I'm I'm a product designer, like professionally, product designer. But like on the side, I do like a little bit of every kind of design, motion design here, uh, graphic design sometimes, and also like I'm an architecture student. So in a way, I kind of like have a very like all-round design background, but professionally, I practice as a product designer. Currently in my fourth. By December, I'll complete like the fifth year, but like just within the fifth year of my experience as a product designer. Currently, I work full time in finance, and I I got to hear about the garden sometimes last year from Leo, when I joined the team to work on like the component library and a bit of prototyping as well. And since then, I've just like been a part of like IDS, right? Where I just do like different things, sometimes motion design, sometimes like motion videos for the team. And I think like within the time where I worked with the garden, I was able to like get like familiar with what garden's all about. And yeah, and I've seen it like as a great product, and I've seen that that would be useful to like a lot of creatives, and that's why I am like very pleased to speak here right now and to be among like everyone here, to be able to like let everyone know about the garden and also like help people in the community here where I am. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, and it's been a pleasure having you, and excited for you to speak. I see some people in the chat. Would love for you guys to say hello so we can see who's all in here, and just let you know we'll also be having questions at the end. So just take note of that. I see Aluchi's in here and Design Kings. Hello, and thank you so much for being part of this discussion. Solomon, if you want to give a quick intro to yourself.
All right. Well, Solomon. My name is Solomon. He can to do Solomon. Yeah, but just like Tim said, you can call me Solomon. The rest is just too long. So I'm an artist. I am a hyper realist artist. Yeah, and I basically draw. I draw with charcoal, graphite, on paper, and I've been drawing since I was a child. Yeah, I've been drawing since as long as I can remember. But I started professionally at in the year 2017. I've been drawing since about that period. So there's not so much about myself here. It's not like I have one book that I can pick it up from. But in the summary, it says that I love to create beautiful pieces as much as I have people who are interested. And I know that they will always be interested, and I'm happy to be here to join you all. Just little hangout where we get to share ideas, meet up, just basically me talking about what I do beyond just an expression of being an artist. And also, I'm a tutor. I get to teach people how to draw. Also, get to teach how to thrive making art because we're talking about creativity, right? We're talking about talent. And there's a lot to go with talent. And thankfully, the garden has helped and is still helping here for us to recognize that there are struggles and there's a lot to go with what an artist, a creative, a developer, whatever you do that's creating value has to go through. And this involvement, this closure is what we're all here for. And I'm happy I'm able to come here and share my experience and whatever mentoring there is beyond now.
Well, awesome, man. Yeah, I appreciate your words. Like normal, you always have great things to say about the community, and yeah, we're just very thankful to have you be a part of this. So yeah, Eric, do you want to intro yourself before we get started as well? I think Eric is a little camera shy guy, so don't take that to heart. I promise you, he looks beautiful. Okay, cool. Then we will get started. Tim, we can start with you first. Yeah, Leo, thank you for hopping in here and talking a little bit about the project and what we're going off of, and what our goals are. And we can get right into it with Tim. So Tim, you told us a little bit about yourself, and a little bit of backstory, but we'd love to hear about how you came in as a designer. What sparked your interest, and what made you decide that this is something that you wanted to get into.
Okay. Um, so this is interesting because I think I've like I don't know, I've said like my story so like a bit of like few people, mostly people around me, but now I have to like say it to like a lot of people. But yeah, uh, my first introduction to like tech in general was like I was in junior school, right? I had a friend and we were just like doing all of those things young people do, dreaming of owning a social media, what's it called? Like a network or a social media app that everyone can use. And I started like coding then. So wrote my first line of code around that time. And since then I've been messing around like a lot of tech stuff, just looking for ways to make things work. And as I was just growing, I started like taking it more as something that I wanted to be serious with, as opposed to something I was just doing like for the fun of it. And during that time, I tried out a couple things, and I was really attracted to like all of these sites that had a lot of interactions, that had like things moving around like that time. So in the process of learning how to create them, I realized that like that was when I found like UI UX design, where I saw that okay, people actually design first, then some other people code it. So then I said, okay, I will learn that and then I will code. So for a while I was doing designing myself, then try and code it live. And I was doing that. Then over time, I just like because I got quickly into design that time and then I just like fell in love with it and I was like, I think this is the way. And since then I've just not looked back. So it has just been this is and I've been having a lot of fun with it and I've been growing with it as well. So in a way, now when I entered school and I started studying architecture, everything started aligning and I started seeing the relationship and I was like, okay, I think this is great. And like this is the way forward, basically. So yeah, that is really how I got into design.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And it's great to hear that backstory for sure. And when I talk to a lot of people, specifically from Nigeria, when they're getting into something creative, type of talent, they always tell me that this is this type of talent or this type of career is looked at by others as something that isn't a real career. And I just wanted to ask you, why do you think that designers aren't looked at, or I should say, why do you think design isn't looked at as like a real career in Nigeria?
So in relation to that, like I've tried thinking about it like some time before, and I'm just going to like paint like a scenario of what is usually seen as a typical career and what design is. So typically, when like people are speaking about career, they it's something like they register for in school, right? Register for it, spend maybe 4 or 5 years, get a degree, and then like start applying for jobs, and then start building like start working in an actual company, and then building a career off of it. But like in relation to design now, a lot of like I don't know, a lot of universities here. I mean, maybe until recently that maybe some like there are some courses related to like actual design, like maybe graphic design and UI UX design. Like a lot of like we didn't have like variation for design courses, right? That people can go to school to study. So for most parts, most people are self-taught or they got like an online education, maybe a boot camp that they registered for or a school online, and then they get their certificate off of that. And like in that whole circle, like you see that a lot of people don't go to school for it, and then they typically don't have a degree. But for most part, they have a portfolio that they can use to like push for jobs. And like because of that disconnect from what is traditionally known as a career, when you go to school, get a degree, start building off of your degree, just to get like a job to begin working. Because of that disconnect, a lot of times people don't see it as like an actual job, right? I mean, like maybe until maybe recently, because like our generation, a lot of people are into that, and our parents are beginning to see how productive it can be, and then like they're just getting comfortable with the idea. So because of that disconnect, I think like that's probably the reason why a lot of people don't identify it as a career in quotes. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I totally agree with that, and have also similar experience as well of grandparents and parents at first not understanding the creative career that you may want to go into. But as you have said, I think our parents, that generation, are slowly starting to see that this is something that can actually be a profitable and successful career, which is amazing to see, because I think as we are the people who are actually doing it, our kids will be able to support them in different ways. And, I think a lot of the times people, when they see like their parents may not support them, and when it comes to their creative talents or any talent that they may have when they want to go off of it as like a career, they may take it the wrong way. And I think most of the times it's just because parents want to see their kids like not struggle at the end of the day. It's not that they don't love and want to support what you do. It's just like they don't want to see their baby, their child,
Yeah, they just
struggle.
see the big picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I think at first sometimes we can be a little harsh to them, but like as we get older, I think we just understand that. And going off of the whole like that idea, that culture of believing, that certain careers can't be real careers, how do you plan to change that idea in Nigeria?
I think I feel like naturally, like there'll be a change. Naturally, there'll be a change because one, a lot of people are getting into it, and then a particular percentage of those people will get successful at it, and they build a career off of it and get like prosperous in that like regard. So because of the success attached to it, people begin to like give him more it begins to get more relevance basically. And in that way, like everyone just understand that, oh, it is a career, and like you can now begin to defend it and say, okay, this is what I do, and everybody can now like connect it to someone prosperous that they've seen. Because like if you see like the traditional career, maybe medicine, or you see this person, and then you can easily connect that, okay, this is what a doctor is like, and like this is what a successful doctor is like, right? But over time, we begin to have the same for design. This is what a successful designer looks like. This is what irrespective of like the field of design that they're doing, you can begin to like draw a line from there. And over time, the narrative will just change, and everybody will just like naturally get used to it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And when you were talking about, just seeing the success of others and seeing more people start to, get into this type of career, obviously you're seeing that from not only in person, but, through an online type of presence. And I just want to know, like, what made you realize you needed to create an online presence for yourself um, to be successful?
Hmm. Okay. So in relation to online presence, I would say it was like the reality that I was facing at the time. So see someone who like for most parts is usually like indoors, right? And then I kind of stay in a place where a lot of people are not doing what I was doing. So I couldn't like connect physically with a lot of people. And I knew how important it was to build like some form of network with other people in the industry. So it was just important for me to like, if I can't meet them in person, then I probably should be able to meet them online. And then I just like build a person around myself that they will be willing to meet. And like that was just the rationale behind it, because I couldn't like do that in person. I couldn't find them in person. And in situation where I probably like see a few people, I might get like kind of shy to relate with them in that regard. But like I mean, over time, I've just seen that after doing that, now when I like for most part when I travel for events, because like I do that often, that's one of the ways I physically meet people. So when I travel for like events, it's more like, oh, are you this person? Are you this person? And then like easily you can easily say hi to them. And that way, because of like the persona you build around yourself, like in person, like online rather, then it's easier for you to like connect with them online in person when you meet them. And so like that was just the reason for that. Because I
Yeah.
needed to. Yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, and it's cool how it translates over into the real world too. Of people coming up to you and say, "Hey, I know you from online." It's crazy that we're in this generation where that's the case. And especially for like, I feel like a lot of creatives or a lot of talented people, sometimes we're often introverts, and on building an online presence can definitely help with that soft introduction with others. And probably a lot of people are trying to figure out, how can I gain a following, and what are the first steps? So that's a question I would like to ask you. How did you gain that following, and what were the first steps that you took to get you to the point that you are at now?
Okay. First, I'll give you a disclaimer. It's not a one size fits all. It just worked like
Mm.
when I did it, right? So it probably will work for you too. But for most parts, especially because I don't like sometimes don't get like into a lot of discussion, like maybe around design online. Like I don't get into like a lot of it. I mean, sometimes I might drop my 2 cents, but like what I've been doing so far is just I make sure I do my own homework, like put in like a lot of time to work on like personal works, personal projects, and then like just keep sharing online. So I do like most times that around the time when I was still like very serious about like building like my social like what's it called persona. I was doing a lot of like personal work and putting forth my best work every time that I post. And that way, like it just got a lot of people like interested. So they will just sometimes follow, some will even DM and be like, hey, I love what you're doing. Uh hopefully we'll get to work on something sometime. or some will just say, "Oh, can you show me how you did this?" Like, do in all of that like conversation, so you just get your following. Because like the important thing is that like on the internet, someone is just listening. Like you don't even know. They may not like, they may not like, they may not comment, but like somebody is seeing it, and over time they see you like you've done this 3 times. Maybe you're probably that guy, and then they give you a follow because they've seen like you doing it consistently, and like in that like I mean, like, look at the Twitter thing where we have like where you can see the number of views now. Sometimes you make a post and you see like that's seen by 30 people and they're not saying anything about it. It's just because people see, but like they are just not doing anything
Mhm.
until they have a reason to. When they've seen it a lot of times and they're like, oh, maybe this guy is actually that guy, and then they give you a follow and they're like, yeah.
For sure.
So that's what I think.
I 100% agree with you. And I think a lot of times people will get a little discouraged when they don't see that engagement at first, because especially when you're talking about like the Twitter or let's say Reels or really all these social media platforms, you're able to see how many people viewed something. But then you see the views may be high, but you're like, why did I not get as many likes or as many comments in here? But it's exactly what you're saying is when people see you do something consistently, they fall in love with not only what you're doing, but you as a person also believe what you're doing, because it doesn't seem like it's a one-off thing. You know, it seems like this person is cares about their craft a lot. They're continuing to do it, and there's like this belief that like the more someone sees it, the more familiarity they have with it, so the more likely they're going to begin to engage with it. And that's how obviously from what you're saying is how you're able to build that following, is people just seeing it over and over, then they slowly engage, now they're always engaging, now they see you in person, oh, I know who you are because I've seen all your posts, you know, and it just becomes like a huge domino effect. And I think like this is a big huge advice for creatives and talents. Just keep going, like don't stop, because when you stop the momentum that everyone else is seeing and that you might be seeing as well. So yeah, 100% definitely continue, and that's definitely some wise words for sure. And I just want to also know, what are the biggest benefits you've seen since building a presence online?
Okay, I'll just bring it back home. I mean, like I'm on this call and like Leo, Leo just I don't know Leo from anywhere until like we met on Twitter. He saw, I think he saw one of my works and like, oh, we need to work on something like this. I need to do something like this for me, like within like the what's it called, within IDS, and then we started speaking. So it's just that summary. That is it. Like you get to make friends, you get to meet like people like online, you make friends online, uh, and sometimes your friends be like, "Oh, are you free for this kind of work?" or something in that line, or you meet people who are even strangers that then they get familiar, like because I mean you meet them there, then you become familiar. Then generally also pushes you to, if your approach is to always post your best work, then it pushes you to like just keep going. So there's this part where I think like there's this thing where we always say when people have like maybe it's like 10,000 hours of doing something where they become like very good at it. So like in the process of wanting to consistently post, right, or have something to post, you find yourself like doing a lot of like putting extra work just to do your best work, putting a lot of extra work get like um to get like personal projects out. In all of that cycle, you just find yourself like doing it's just like a form of practice for you, and then you get better at your crafts at the same time while like meeting new people and getting to work on like real life projects. So in that line, like that is just one of like or some of the benefits to that. So yeah.
For sure. And what a, like you said, a full circle moment. And it's perfect that, you know, you brought that up, because that just shows that from you posting online, you were able to be seen by the project owner, one of the founders of the garden. And now we're here, you know, and being able to get work. And that's just so important to just keep pushing yourself. We're in the age where we have the ability to constantly promote ourselves, and sometimes we don't take those steps when we need to, for sure. And to dive in further into that about visibility, I would love to hear your thoughts on how do you think this initiative that the garden is building with you guys, how do you think it could be helpful to the visibility for talent in Nigeria?
Okay. First, um, I think coming from the fact that I've been within the system and I've seen like what the garden is about and what is being built, uh, the garden like is going to be very useful to like a lot of creatives. And then like being in a community, like in the garden community, gives you access to all of those creatives, and it just like gives you a space where you can meet a lot of other like various people, and then in that process like you have the opportunity to do whatever you want to do. Either like you want to push some of your work, uh you want to push some of your work, and then it will be received by like the people within garden. So the process of like meeting a lot of people and then like allowing them to have like a view of your creative process, right? Then allows you to like gain like a lot of network if they like your process, or like if they like if they like it and they believe what you're doing, it gives you like an opportunity to be able to like meet them, and then they can be able to see what you're up to, and then there you can build your network as well. In that way, from there you probably get to work on like a project that's like that is servicing like a lot of customers. In like all of that phase, you're interacting with a lot of people in that circle, and there you're meeting a lot of people, and then you're getting like more visible, you're getting more known in that regard. So the fact that like the garden is a community of like creatives, you automatically get to have access to a lot of other creatives, and then your work has a chance of standing out, right? And then you get to like meet a lot of creative like yourself, and in that way you get like more visibility for your work
Mm-hmm.
and recognition generally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree. And the last thing I want to ask you is, how much do you think this is needed in Nigeria?
Hmm. Okay. So I would say as much as there are like existing platforms like Dribble, Behance, where like people already post their stuff. I think like Garden takes like a different approach to it. In that one, you get to like really get a deep dive into the creative process of a creator, of the specific creator behind the work you see. So I mean, like in Dribble, they probably put some of the shots, and maybe they try to type like some of the things that they did. But like regarding Garden like ensures or puts it at the bare minimum for them to share like their creative process. And then you as a creator can come there not just to post your own work, but also to get like inspired and to like get more knowledge by reading obviously through like other people's creative process, or like having a run through of what they do. And that way like you improve your own process, and then you get like you kind of like improve your own process there basically. So in that regard, I feel like that kind of access to like the creative process of like various creators in a way helps develop like designers and other creatives like within Nigeria, and then you begin to like tap into like the creative process of people who have probably built global brands, right? And in that way you can refine yours to make you like a what's it called? Make you in par with like the global standard of design, or global standard of whatever creative endeavor you're in, basically. So that kind of access to the creative, to the what's it called, to the creators creative process helps you improve your own self, and that way I feel like a lot of uh creatives within Nigeria will be able to benefit from that, and then we begin to, or we continue because we already do, like to a large extent, a lot of like Nigerians are doing work that have like that are on par with global standards. So those are coming behind, those are already there, they can be able to refine their process and get to a point where we are like really great at what we do, or we continue to be great at what we do. So yeah.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm really really excited to build this with you all. And I know when I was first talking on the conversations with you, I was being like very ambitious of what I would eventually, what we'd eventually like it to be like. Where it's eventually in person and having these huge events with all these talented people, and getting to that place starts with this, starts with these first type of meetings and initiatives, and further can grow and blossom into to what we want it to be. So I just want to say I really appreciate you giving that advice to these up and coming talents, and yeah, appreciate your time, Tim.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. And I see Eric is showing his wonderful face in here. So I know people thought you're looking shy, bro. So it's nice to see you smiling. I think you're muted, by the way, too.
Yeah, sorry, I had a little bit of challenge like joining the call, and it's late here, so I need to like put on the join. That's part of my so that's the issue. Sorry, I joined late. Yeah.
Yeah, all good. Appreciate you joining, and yeah, nice to see that smile in here. And I know Eric, you do have to run in a little bit, so we will go to you next, and then we'll go over to Solomon. Um, and yeah, I guess we can get started with you. I know you have a fan in the chat, Eric, that said Eric finally showed his face. So we're happy about that about that as well. Cool. So Eric, yeah, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, about how you got into design, what sparked you into it. Yeah, what led you to this?
All right. So where do I start from? Okay, basically, my entry into design, I started designing, let's say about 2 years ago now. And then the whole idea that, okay, what led me into design basically was I've always had a thing for like design generally, not just product design. I had a friend then that does graphic design, and he's so good at mixing colors. He's like really good at it. I envied all of his works. I envied what he does, and I thought to myself, this is something I really want to give a try. Like this is something I would want to do. Design is not my field. I did not have any background knowledge about design. But then I thought to myself that it would really be nice to give this a shot. It would really be nice to see what's going on. And then I took the bold step. I got a PC for myself. And then when I got the PC, I thought to myself, this is the time for me to like get the work going. So I met the same guy. When I met him, I spoke with him. We had this conversation, and then he puts me on. He gave me resources, told me I have access to him. Each time I really want anything from him, I can reach out to him anytime. So as soon as I have this, I went back to, and then one of the things that really helped me, because one thing I noticed about design generally is you need to practice a lot. You need to see resources. You need to see what others are doing. So I did all of these. I spoke to people. I did not limit myself to reaching out to just one person. So that helped me in with like fasting my track. So all the while I was doing graphic design, what I focused more on was not doing work junior like myself, or people who literally just started not being at the level. So I was setting a track record for myself as seeing what people who are like a year or two ahead of me. Then I think I got the opportunity to join a, should I say, boot camp. So when I joined the boot camp, now the boot camp literally like helped me to help me to get started with UI UX design. That was like my first entry into UI UX design. I began UI UX design, and then I thought this is something I would want to give a try, because as at then the idea I had about it was you're going to design a product, you're going to design an application, a website for real users. And I thought this would really be cool. Like I'm building something that someone else would use. So that was the entry for me, and that's how I've been like that has been it for me all through when I started down to now. So that's it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when you obviously got into design field, you finally, had someone to teach you, had your PC. What were still some of the obstacles that you still faced?
Okay, I think the general obstacle for anyone doing any digital skill related in Nigeria is we suffer from, did I say, electricity supply, that we don't have the free time to use electricity as much as we can, in the sense that, as a Nigerian now, there are times when if you get the if you have power, if you have power on the spot, it's important that you take advantage of it, because you don't know when the next one is coming.
Mhm.
And sometimes, they are not so strict. And I had to connect and go and so everything online stuff. Another obstacle was I have challenged not getting so much resources, and then not getting people to like give back. The truth is, we don't have many people like short with. If you debate so important in this changes, especially if you want to be busy all the out. This is literally, I think, like, okay, you have to wait for a while, and then I'll give you. So it's of people who are in the same thing I'm doing. It's a little bit of a challenge, and for some, it's finding it difficult. I'm not finding it difficult. Check all my not on Twitter. Sometimes trying to be difficult. It's not my thing. Like I sometimes just like staying. I feel myself. It's like major jobs I face them.
Sure. Yeah, and I know that you saying that you did your work on it, but how did you get discovered as a designer to work at like IDS and Arden, like without that? Because obviously you're still
All
able
right.
to have success, so I would love to, for other people who may be scared of posting their works online, or
All right. Yeah.
yeah, would love to hear that.
I'll say, the thing for me. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good. All right. So, the thing for me then was basically at the start of my design career or design journey, I thought to myself that I really want to stay well at this. I did okay, it's going to like be a major should I say career paths. I was just like this skill. Then I see people around me, so I like see them do that end them then they can from it. Then I just do it. So more I more people say what we able to have from this career. Like that's what can people do. But when I do that, I don't say your age or people don't people like so many people are like so time where people get on sites with them. So there are people online that ready to share on one center. I had to like join so many Twitter spaces. So Twitter spaces that really helped me in like, getting to meet people, getting to know how people have done the experience and challenges. One of the things I got from the trend then was and yeah, people say share on the all the slightest thing, smallest thing, share it. So it's even the but I was like to the final work. Like so okay, people are able to meet. Now I think that so many of them was an interaction challenge, and I think I was like 5 months into design then. So I jumped on an interaction challenge, and I think I was by the and it was a really funny experience. Then the time I had no idea was my think I would not be there because some men was on the help of a few guys around. I had to like push my card there. So did you come to them? So that was expensive. So I was like, what I did, reached to me on the hands and
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm happy you were able to join the team and able to win with the garden and help us grow. Yeah, it really means a lot to us, and yeah, it's amazing to still see that you took the time and effort to reach out on these like online spaces, get into these challenges, go on these Twitter spaces, and really put yourself out there, because as a creative or as a talent in general, that's what you have to do to get to that next level, or the places that you want to be. You have to network, you have to put yourself out there, and that's what this whole conversation is about, right? The whole visibility of talents in general. And to go off of that topic, I would just love to hear why you think the garden and this initiative that we are helping build. Why do you think it is important for the visibility of talent?
all right. So I'll say this. Generally the issues people face here in Nigeria in terms of visibility is, I would say all of the platforms we have like Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Behance, Dribble, they like saturated with people who have like made a name for themselves. And the truth is, one thing about algorithm is that algorithm generally for most of these platforms is you need to have gotten so much follows, so much likes, people who interact with your post for you to get a better reach. And then trust me, these people have been on these platforms for quite a number of years. So they've gained the follow base, they've gained that fan base. And for Garden now, Garden is a platform that is like promising. I said promising because truth is you won't just have everything you want right on the spot. But then when you join a growing platform that has better plans, that has good plan for people, it's going to give you an edge. And then as a creative here in Nigeria now, it's really important that you join this platform so you can grow with people, get to know people, meet people, not even with your locality number. You get to know them after so compared to platforms that where people so like, you can if I can for extra I'm doing it and then you get platform, everyone wants to be part of what is going, everyone wants to be part of what let's say what is building. And then it would be easy to networkers. Yeah, anyone who is joining the garden currently is well, okay, I really want to be part of this. I want to network, I want to make more friends, I want to meet people who are the same thing I'm doing. And she's as well of getting should I say getting the chances of even getting leads from prospective recruiters or job. So I think those are things majorly. All right. Okay, yeah, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Thanks.
in Nigeria. And just growing up as like an artist in Nigeria, and things that he may had to go through, and yeah, just a little bit about that, and excited to dive into this conversation. So with that said, Solomon, did you have your Red Bull today? You feeling energized today?
I'm tired. I should go. Eric has left. Well, I think I'm done.
I guess that's on me. I I guess that is on me. I guess that's on me. I should have sent you some Red Bull. But yeah, to dive in more into this conversation. So to dive more into this conversation, I would love for you to tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how you came up as an artist and what got you into art.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am Solomon. You can call me Solomon. Uh, like I said, I am an artist. So I draw. I draw photos. I don't draw like it. Yeah, because making your photos come to life. That's about it. And how I got inspired to draw. I would say, growing up, especially us in this age range now, yeah, we do some cartoons, some animations that we did watch a lot growing up. It could be that well, the thing is, we are all artistic in one way or another. Yeah. Everybody's an artist. It's about whether you can keep being an artist as you age. Yeah, I had likings for pencils or pen, colors. Yeah, and my brother, my late brother, do. He also was someone who was really good. Yeah, so I had someone who could make me feel good, like I'm doing something right. So I stopped at some point. Yeah, to get to a point where you get to school, you have to get serious with your life. Man, that's what it looks like. Get serious with your life, go to school, eventually get your degree. And when you come out, the reality sets in, or before you come out, reality is set in. And you know you need to do something for yourself that is for you. Not someone tell you, okay, this is what you're going to do, this is how the world works, this is how the Nigerian system should work, get a job. It's good. To do what floats your boat, right? But for me, I just at some point realized that, man, let me go back to drawing. Like we can, I won't find out if I don't go back to it. It'd be nice. It also could be horrible. Yeah, but the thing is that I loved what I do. I love it. Like I don't love it. So getting back into art, I had to take my time to develop skill. Yeah, we were talking about talent. Yeah, talent is never enough. You know that. Never enough. You could have the skill in you. You're just so good at doing something, but you need that extra protection, confidence in yourself when you build your skill upward. Yeah. So I had to test out the variations of color, try and find my medium. Yeah. Find out what would work for me when I want to draw. If I want to go into watercolor, if I want to go into uh, colored pencil, if I want to go into acrylic, if I want to go into oil, and all sorts until and yeah, I had a supportive family. I would say that. I know a lot of people do have that. You're doing something and like, where's the white collar? Don't you need a job that will pay your bills? I can't do that. I'm glad art is paying my bills though. Yeah, it is. So I had to keep doing what I was doing, and thanks to the visibility we're talking about now, that we're sharing to ourselves now, you see that you can go further than you can imagine. I'm sure all of us here, from Timothy, Eric, even Khalil, even to Leo, who is not with us now, when we start an initiative, when you set out to do something, you don't really anticipate it to go as far as you might even get in the end. And you will see yourself, you keep growing eventually. So I got into arts, came back in 2017, kept on drawing, kept on improving. So I know that I wasn't how I was when I started in 2017. There's a lot of improvement that I've made, thankfully. Yeah, so that's just about it.
For sure. And Alochi said it's not too late for me to send you some Red Bull, by the way. But yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing to have that type of support. It's so important, because when you have that support, you're able to like have the energy to push forward. They are your Red Bull, if you want to say, like when you have that family that is behind you, that friends that are behind you, pushing you to continue going after what you want to go after in life. And I just want to know, like, what are some of the obstacles that you faced as you were growing, or as you started to take this career seriously, both in general and then also as a artist in Nigeria?
Well, we're talking about visibility, yeah. When I started out, I didn't really see the need for visibility. Who cares? Like Timothy said, he doesn't go out. Even now, I don't still see so because still having that effort for school and doing it. But it's not something I care for. But now that I care for it, at 2018, 2019, I saw that I used to like you. As you might know, Instagram a lot. All my followers don't even know that I was the one that they focused for. That kind of situation. Yeah, so the one emphasis I'm making here is this is the kind of switch having people that I don't want to see my work, people that would now value what you do, people that will make you feel on the value. Yeah? Do something, you share something, just the way we've been talking about sugar a lot. There are people that will shade with hate. There's a lot of hate in social media too. Yeah, you see a situation whereby someone asks to get work done, but that person is a scam all along. Yeah. There's a lot of that. The more you are exposed to people, the more you're exposed to, I'll say stress. Yeah. And I try to see that I now need to be smarter. And that's a drag because there's not a lot of genuineness when it comes to dealing with people on social media. Yeah. And I found that as an obstacle. On the aspect of the valuation, let's say you get someone who really likes what you do. Yeah, as beautiful as art is, there's still a lot of people that look at it as a commodity. Yeah, look at that. Beans, rice, apple, pepper, onions. It's not like those are we eat them, right? They are it's food, nutrients. But art is somewhat different. And me as an artist, you need to understand what I'm meaning to say. You shouldn't just debunk it like, oh, what do you do? It should be this price. I got it at. Having to deal with people who undermine your work is a struggle I had to deal with. And till now, I still have to struggle with that. But I now know how to filter who I get involved with. There will always be people who care for real. That's it.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. I think putting yourself online, especially when it comes to your work, you are able to see and learn like the value of your work that you may have not noticed was there before. But it also comes with that territory of, sometimes the people you meet, you never know if it's, like you said, potentially getting scammed. Like, of course, that stuff does happen. But the benefits and the pros definitely outweigh those minute people that would be willing to take advantage of you. So I'm happy to hear that, like, there has been like some absolute great things since putting yourself out there, because you have what, like almost like 35K followers, which on Instagram, which is amazing. And I would love to like hear, like, how were you able to then take that following and turn it into something that was profitable, and build a full-time career off of it?
All right. Well, like I said before, yeah, I eventually get disability, and with presence comes recognition. Now, you over here recognize me for what I'm doing. Yeah, you recognize me for my work. Well, you like me and you and every one of us here to be part of this initiative, right? That's the benefit. Now, one thing leads to another. It's all like we're in boat. Yeah, we're all paddling together. Then I know that I'm in control of the part that I'm paddling. That's the important part. I'm in control of the part that I'm paddling. So I get my social media for yeah, not just Instagram, Facebook is there as well. I know that okay, yeah, I love art. It's a passion. Yeah, I want to make people see what I do. But at the same time, it's good for me to feel appreciated for it, and it's good to also be able to earn a living from it. Yeah, so I eventually, from the recognition, started having interest. Now, the thing with following is if you're getting a large following, you are getting just numbers. Then, if you're not getting actual interest from genuine people, it's very, very depressing. I won't say too depressing, yeah, I won't use that word, but it's annoying when people get to follow, follow, follow. The likes may be encouraging, but that's not what everyone really wants. You actually want someone that would probably pay one debt that you had, right? So I have gotten a lot of commissions, thankfully. I've been privileged to work with some learning platforms, create courses for some learning platforms. Also, I've worked with Patreon on just the social media collaboration. Yeah, thanks to what visibility. Yeah, thanks to the visibility that I had, people got to see that I'm quite good. Yeah, well, we would like to share your work. It all starts from somewhere, right? So thanks to the commissions, sales, I've had the privilege of making some sales. Also had the privilege of commissions, especially, and it still comes back to the valuation. I mean, saying that there are people who would still be genuine. Yeah, I've had people who made me feel like I should no longer, I shouldn't even offer commissions as a package. But there will still be people that make you smile and you want to even do it for free, right? So the whole aspect of commissions, the tutoring that I talked about, me being to able to circle all these three, and of course, time is not our side as creatives. 24 hours is not enough. Yeah, even being here right now, I'm like, there's something I need to do. I should have posted on Instagram, right? Maybe that post will link me to someone else that would change my life even further. But yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, the more, like just like Eric talked about, being constant, being consistent, keep doing what you're doing. It's not very encouraging all the time, but you just have to keep doing it. What matters is that there's always someone out there. There's always someone who has interest. Yeah,
Yeah.
social media is just for you, but knowing how to balance it all.
100% agree. 100% agree. And I was gonna ask you what is the hardest part about building a social media following, but you kind of touched on that, and describing about the consistency, and sometimes you aren't gonna get like the best engagement, and it can get to you, but you have to almost be like a robot in that situation and kind of just take it on the chin and keep going. And if you want to dive further into it, just realize why something isn't working, assess why it isn't working, and then figure out how to make it better, and how to make it work. So it isn't easy. And I think when we start to look at it more from a analysis perspective instead of a emotional perspective, that's, I think, when you will start to see even more growth, because instead of getting emotional about, oh, I didn't get this engagement, oh, I didn't get it to this amount of people, it's more so, okay, why didn't this work? Okay, maybe I just didn't post at the right time. Let's look where they dropped off. Okay, bet I'll just change this and go forward. And me as a musician, like, trust me, it's so much easier said than done for me to say, yeah, be more analytical than emotional, because at the end of the day, what you create it's coming from your soul, and you're taking that and giving it to people and putting it out there. And when you don't receive that same energy, it's not easy, you know. But like I was saying, it's almost like you have to be more analytical than emotional at the end of the day. And the last thing I wanted to ask you, Solomon, before we get into like the questions asked by a couple people in the chat, is how do you think having a community like the Garden will benefit talents of all kinds?
Well, just like I did say, coming here, getting to meet you all, it's all closure. Knowing that you have someone to ask the second opinion. When you go to the doctor now and tell you that one eye is bad, it would be nice to go and ask someone else that's a doctor and be sure whether that eye is really bad. Yeah. So the garden, from how I've seen it, I'm pretty impressed. Really, it's like going to the gym. Yeah, I'm not talking about saying we should all start working out now. Yeah, you can work out from home, yeah, but it's still not like going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You get to meet people, yeah, you get to socialize, you see a different kind of motivation when you're at the gym. But for me, that doesn't work. I can be at home and work out. But when you are at the gym, it's definitely not like home. So the garden is just like a support group for all of us creatives. We are like minds, yeah. Knowing that you have someone who understands what you're saying, understands where you're coming from, helps a lot, even more than the actual support. It's not just about getting funds and hoping that eventually maybe the garden will link me up to somebody that will change my life. That closure is as important as the other benefits that will flow from the game. The more that there's numbers, the more the numbers, the more the engagement and all of that. Yeah, it's it's, it's the biggest offer anyone can think of. And for me, what else is there? What else do we want than to have someone who is, let's say, an accountability partner? Because if someone is close to you, you wanted to do a design, just like our friends Eric and Timothy. You want to do a design, and you're not feeling all that into it. Then there's a post somewhere on the garden, group chat or anywhere, and you are inspired again. Just the same way we come on Instagram and other platforms. Yeah? You get to be inspired. I can look at some works of my colleagues and I'm like, I want to draw again. Yeah. And really, drawing is for me, being an artist is not all that motivating. Being here can keep you motivated, can keep
Mm-hmm.
you inspired to want to keep doing what you are doing. And that helps a lot. Yeah, it's not so easy. But being in a group of like minds helps a lot. It's just like when you're trying to come out from uh let's say an addiction, or a support group, or you're in something of that nature. There are people there that make you feel like you are not alone. So that's what the garden is all about, and it's already doing that. And I'm happy to be part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're more than happy to have you as well, and appreciate the kind words, and look forward to just connecting and growing together and being that support group with each other. And yeah, if anyone wants to write some questions in the chat, feel free. We're gonna wrap up with some panel questions. So Alochi had two questions, both for Tim and for Solomon. Uh, she was asking, what advice will you give, or would you like to give to a creative who is starting out in Nigeria? And this is for either one of you guys or both.
Well, both of us can answer it together, or who will go first?
Go ahead, Solomon.
All right. So I would say be confident. You need a lot of confidence because even apart from the garden, we can't give you all the confidence you need. You just need to believe in yourself beyond what your community has to offer you. Now, the Nigeria that we know, a lot of things are bad. Inflation is our friend, right? That's the reality we have here. Eric talked about funding and a lot of other obstacles that you face. You just have to be confident, be concentrated, concentrate on what you're doing, yeah, and be consistent as much as you like. But always remember that As long as you set out to do something, you have that determination. Whatever you want to do is achievable, and there will be time on your side. That's it. It's not really like an advice, but it's more like an encouragement. Yeah, because you already know how things are over here. But do what you can to get out in your space and try to keep your head cool. Yeah, that's just it.
For sure. And Tim, same question to you. What advice would you give up to creatives who are starting out in Nigeria?
Okay. I would say like just do, like spend a lot of time doing whatever it is that you're doing. I think for the initial phase, don't be too like moved by maybe uh by numbers, right? Just keep doing and make sure that each time you are doing the best you can do at that particular time. Uh just so that it becomes a part of you. And over time then you can now like start looking at your numbers and all of that. But for most part, just keep doing. Spend a lot of time on it. Sleep on it. Wake
Mhm.
up. Continue again if you can. But for most part, just keep doing. Spend a lot of your time doing what you have to do. And that's the best way to build competence.
Yeah,
And yeah.
100% agree. 100% agree. And I saw Solomon, you had your hand up. Was that a accident?
No, no, no. I actually wanted to chip in something. Yeah, as apart from doing, yeah, it's good that you also improve your skill. Whatever it is you are doing, try to improve on it. It may look like the social media algorithm is against creativity, but there's always going to be a space that is welcoming. But also improve how you present what you do. If you don't really know you have to become a filmmaker, mini filmmaker, that's what you have to do. You just have to do your best to get what you can, to give your best. That's just it.
Yeah. 100% agree. 100% agree. And the last question that we had as well is, if you could go back in time and redo your creative journey from scratch, what things would you have done differently and why? And we can, yeah, Solomon, since I see Tim with his eyes up like he's thinking, so we'll give him a second and let Solomon go ahead first.
Well, that's something to think about because you don't even want to go back in time. I think it's cool where we are, but there's room for improvement, right? There's still something to do better. Well, I would have liked to have started professionally earlier than when I did. Let's say 2014. Because the thing with social media is that when they kick off, there's really no barrier as to what matters, or there's no care for who is needed, or what you should do to impress people. Just like YouTube. If I started out YouTube maybe in 2011 and I was drawing back then, somebody would be like, Khalil, I don't have time right now because I can't be on this meeting. Uh, but apart from that, also I would have, mm, well, what would it be really? Apart from wanting to start earlier, I would have liked to go back in time and to, since I started earlier, my late dad, my brother would have seen that I can draw and I'm good. Like I have potential and they will be really proud of me. Yeah, I would have loved that. But that's priceless for me. There's nothing else I can think of again that what am I changing? It's you look forward, yeah, in the end. There's nothing to change. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, man. It's so easy to like go back and say, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that, you know. But at the end of the day, you just got to keep going forward, you know, because we don't have that luxury to go back, you know. And yeah, all we can do is go forward. But yeah, would love to hear your answer, Tim.
Okay, for me, I would say probably I shouldn't have said like yes to like all of the opportunities I was getting at the time. So maybe like in my third year, I was at a point where it felt like I was doing a lot of work, right? Or I was like getting my hands into like a lot of projects, but they were not like projects that I probably would want to present in that sense. So uh, I was like doing a lot of things. If there's an opportunity here to do something, I'll just do it. If there's, I'll just, if there's a contract opportunity, I just like find I don't know, defend it logically as to why it would be useful to me, and then I'll just pick it up, right? Although there are benefits to that, I mean, like, yes, like there are benefits to that in the fact that, in relation to the fact that I I just got better at what I was doing, basically. So it was like because I was spending a lot of time on it, I was getting better. However, I wasn't I wasn't like strategic about doing. So I wasn't saying, okay, I'll take some of these projects because I know like strictly I want to take them as projects that I can present, like in my portfolio or something, right? Or this is a project that I see probably go live, right? So in our industry, a lot of times like some level of preference is given to like projects that actually go live, right? Especially when you're at a particular like number of years of experience already, then like it's important that you have like a couple of projects within like your stack or in your portfolio that they're live. So at the time, I was just like doing a lot of things, irrespective of whether I wasn't like confirming if they would go live, and then I couldn't read if they would go live at the point in time. So in a way, I had them, but then some I could present, some I couldn't. But I wish like maybe I paid more attention to that. And then like I was strategic about like the projects I was taking on and um the projects I was taking on and the ones I was like rejecting. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's the one thing I went
Well,
on.
appreciate you being honest. First off, and you saying that because I think a lot of times, sometimes people take on every single opportunity that's given to them, in the beginning.